Hello, hello. Can everyone hear me? I hope the answer is yes, because it is time for another episode of Supportive Advice Live with your therapist and host, Aquila Wheatley, a licensed marriage and family therapist in Cleveland, Ohio. If you're like, who is this person? Why is she on here? Well, stay tuned. You'll find that out. But you can also visit my website at www.supportiveadvice.com. It has information about my bio, my practice, what I do, and why I'm here. So, with that being said, I am going to get started. I am excited to get started today. I am not hitting that 6 o'clock mark. I am just like completely time blind. Kind of. I won't say completely. Kind of time blind. And so sometimes I just don't realize how long it takes me to actually do things. I think that I am going to start setting a timer so that I can actually start at 6 o'clock, or I might make the start time 6:15, and then I'm never late. So there's also that, right? That's always an option. So with me I have Mr. Machismo. He is on my panel regularly, and he brings the male perspective. We were actually having a really awesome conversation about what makes a man marriageable or unmarriageable. And if anyone is wondering what that means, it's just the qualifications of whether or not an individual is eligible to be a viable spouse. And some of the characteristics that we talked about were finances and finances, stability, emotional awareness and intelligence, and I think those were the main three that we touched on. I actually submitted to do a study, which I'm pretty excited about, on the correlation between hyper independence and African American unmarried women, and the absentee father, as well as the current perception of meritability among eligible candidates. So we'll see how that goes, and hopefully that goes well. Seeing as though I just submitted a 9 to 10 page premise on this, I don't know if I really feel like talking about it anymore. So just in case, I did pull up Reddit, and so I do have am I the asshole, and we can determine who is the asshole today. If you are watching on TikTok, I thank you. Please chime in and let me know who you think is the asshole. Also, get those likes up. If you're gonna watch, at least hit the screen. Put yourself to action. Give your finger some exercise. And if you're watching via Facebook or what's the other one? YouTube. Comment. Let me know. Even if you're watching the replay, who's that? Who's the asshole? And why? Give a reason. Give a reason as to why. And then I will bring forth a therapeutic perspective, and we can see where we go from there. Also, I want to let you all know that I have a QR code for those that are watching via Facebook or YouTube. There is a scannable QR code that takes you directly to call in, and so if you want to be heard live, scan that code. It'll put you in our room. You can become one of our callers, and then you can hear yourself live and then replay yourself as much as you want, if you want, right? So Dante, Talk to me. Where you at? Mr. Machismo, where you at?
I am right here.
How are you, sir? Thank you for joining us today and being a faithful panel member. I appreciate you.
Oh, cool. I came for the Reddit, I think.
Did you? All right.
That was kind of interesting.
All right.
So there's some crazy scenarios that you kind of hear about that you may not normally. So it's kind of enlightening. It just opens your perspective. Like, these things happen.
Yes, these things do happen, and it's really interesting because these happen in a publicized way, right? So there are things that I just absolutely cannot talk about that, you know, as it relates to my clients, you know, just due to client confidentiality, HIPAA, and all of that stuff. But this stuff here, it's fair game. It's like right there. It's open. It's, you know, so
juicy.
Did you say juicy?
Yeah, a little juicy.
A little juicy. All right. So I sent. So I saw this one and I was like, I have to do this one. I have to. And so, listen to this title, Mr. Machismo, and all of those that are watching. And remember, hit that like button. If you're watching, hit the like button multiple times and also share. A toxic ex sent me an unsolicited genitalia photo, right? So I took a screenshot and sent it to his wife.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Yes! Boom, boom, boom. Okay? Not even just one, right? And remember, we are taking callers and comments. So again, feel free to scan that QR code. It'll put you right in our call-in app. And if you are on TikTok, definitely put comments in on who you believe is the asshole, and we will acknowledge your comments if you get them in time. So the title says it all, is what it says, right? This happened a few years ago. I was with a guy for almost 2 years and ended it when I caught him cheating after suspecting it for a while. Several years passed by and he kept trying to talk to me or get us back together. All before and after he got this girl pregnant and married her. I blocked him for several years. He tried to talk to me via other numbers. I blocked them too. I had deleted WhatsApp for a period of time, reinstalled it later to use, not realizing after deleting the account and reinstalling it, it removes blocked numbers from the account. Sure enough, after some time, he tried talking to me again. Now, mind you, based off of this timeline here, this dude is married and either is a father. It seems like possibly already a father, or at least about to be a father. So just keep these things in mind here when we're making a decision. So he tried talking to me again, confessing his undying love. He was married with 2 kids. That answered that. Married with 2 kids now. Before I had a chance to block him since I was busy at work. You can miss me with the busy at work. You had time. He sent me a pretty graphic photo of his member. All right. As though she had not already seen it. The photo was in his supposed bedroom with plenty of background details of the room. I snapped a photo. Right. So you can't say, well, this was from a long time ago. She's pulling this up from 2 years ago. No, like, your kid's pacifier is on the bed, sir. So you're just done. So I snapped a photo of the one-sided conversation. I love how she's putting like these things in there to like say like I'm not guilty, as if someone is saying to her, well, what did you do? You know, and this leads me to think that maybe this person had a conversation about this in like friends or family kind of maybe ask, like, well, what part did you play? Why would he be messaging you? What did you do? So she's putting in all this extra information that kind of absolves her, and that's normal. I hear that a lot when clients tell me different scenarios. Anyway, the one-sided conversation and the proverbial unsolicited image, and sent it to his wife via Facebook Messenger. My family knows his family, so she wasn't difficult to find. Despite him being blocked on my end, I kept it brief, but I told her I'm his ex he cheated on, to be wary of his ways, and that I'm sorry to have to show her this. I blocked his number again, keeping in mind about keeping WhatsApp activated, and moved on with my life. They are still together in a seemingly turbulent relationship. How do we know that? That is a question. I feel terrible because they have kids, and she seems like a nice person, but he's a piece of junk. I felt this was appropriate to share here. It almost doesn't sound like she thinks she's an asshole, so I don't know why she is putting this commentary, but I think that in all honesty, hey Mojo, I think that in all honesty, she's feeling guilty, right? She seemed pretty disgusted or upset that he was still doing the same types of behavior, which is probably a part of his attachment pattern, and probably pattern of impulsivity, right? And oh, I got some comments. Let me see. Oh, and so, some impulsivity I'm seeing here, and so she goes and she sends this picture to his wife. I don't know exactly what she was hoping to achieve there, but it sounded like that she thought that the wife should know. So before I kind of get into some of the layers of this here, Mr. Machismo, where you at? What do you think?
It's kind of cut and dry a little bit.
You think so?
Yeah, that is that is kind of deep. First things first, this guy is definitely he the bad guy, Chico, in my Razor Ramon voice. Yeah, he the one at fault. Now, there's a thing called the thrill of the chase. He suffers from it. It's definitely people wanting what they can't have. And he sounds like someone that's never happy in a situation. And that happened a lot on both sides of the fence, men and women. So there's that.
Okay.
Then to on the other end of the spectrum, there's, unless we're dealing with a crazy case of narcissism where this person just doesn't believe fat meat is greasy and they just continue to reach out because they know it's going to hit eventually. If that's not the case, there is some sort of what they call that? There's some sort of coddling or some sort of allowance of this behavior for it to continue for this period of time. There's been some entertaining, even if it's on that Friday night where she done left the girl, or that Saturday morning for after brunch, or that Friday night with the girls at game night. There's been some sort of response back.
And this is why she is preempting all of this information, right? Because someone has said the same thing that you said, and she's like, no, let me explain. I downloaded the app again, but I forgot that it unblocked him, and I did this and I did that, and I wasn't entertaining him, and I didn't reply to him. Like she's saying these things because she wants individuals to know, hey, I didn't do anything. This dude is just someone that just doesn't give up easy, and he consistently pursues me. But I do have go ahead. I'm with you.
That, because it's hard. I don't know, because I'm learning that. Yeah, it's a lot. maybe stuff isn't as black as white as things should be. I should say, but I mean, there could be the preemptive strike where she's approaching it because someone mentioned it, or she's approaching it because it's true. So that we'll kind of just leave to interpretation. Just kind of depend on where you stand on the fence with that one.
So
A lot of times.
let me unwrap that a little bit. You mean like when because what I'm getting from that is an example of how like people tell on themselves. Like they're trying to be preemptive. They tell on
her subconscious knows that she allowed this behavior to some extent. Maybe not to the extent where it is now, but any type of response is a response in a way encouragement for some. You ever heard the saying, you give an inch, they're gonna take a mile. Well, he's taking 17 country miles. It sounds like, but
yeah, he's taking a lot of miles.
But that's but there's history, so that's the variable in the room, the big elephant in there. Well, we don't know exactly the extent of that 2 years and what really everything is, because we know she's telling us, but we don't really know the rooter to the tutor.
Well,
we know that part, but we don't know under work. I'm not saying there's any circumstances, but we don't know if she did before. She's just telling one side. There's a lot of stuff to kind of ponder. But overall, I mean, he's the bad guy. So let's just put that. Let's just put a.
Well, we know that.
Put that. Hang that.
That we know.
We can pin that.
We know
we can
that.
Pin that.
And my thing is, he could just be a jerk, and that exists. Those individuals exist, like people who see that you're moved on, and they're all of a sudden they're still hitting you up for whatever reason. Now I do agree that the consistency of it over several years seems a bit redundant. But he could, one pattern that I notice is that like when relationships are volatile, and I don't know if that relationship with his wife is, whenever individuals get upset, they act impulsively, and that might lead to looking up exes, trying to communicate with exes, and whatever the case may be. But Mo, hopefully your mic is working today, and you can weigh in on this. What do you think?
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Mojo.
Yo.
So, this is very good. One of the things that I noticed is that first of all, he is wrong.
Well, we know that.
He's married, and she has the evidence of the body parts and the background, right?
Right.
And so why does she have to be partaking in this activity? Maybe it is him who continues to persistently pursue her. You made a great point about individuals. This is funny because I had a conversation with this male the other day. He was talking about how he cheated on his wife, and it's taking her forever to trust him. And I was telling him, okay, well, how many times have you cheated on her? He pulled up on her and she was out talking to another dude, and he basically stated that, he knew something was going on because they both was acting odd. And, I wasn't justifying her behavior, but I did ask him, how many times have you cheated on her?
I mean, and this opens up something, because I get clients, right, couples that come into my office, love couples, and they will begin to talk to me about the infidelity and the relationship, and sometimes it will be one person talking about how they can't get over the infidelity, right, and the relationship, and then couple of sessions in, it'll come out that they were also unfaithful. And so it's, and so then it becomes the unpacking of, of motive and significance and, acknowledging them both as the hurt and unfaithful party. It gets pretty complex in those types of situations. But I wanna focus in. She's not asking if he's the asshole. I think universally, right, Quetta? Universally, we know he's the asshole, right? However, she's asking, is she the asshole for sending the pic? But I do want to touch on, Monicia, what you said, where, I do question why Mr. Machismo says that she must have been giving something off for him to keep coming at her. Has anyone never heard of those guys who just don't stop? Or do you
hold on.
Wait.
Let's put it in perspective. I didn't say had to. I said could be. There's a difference. In my bill collector voice, I didn't say anything definitive. I said there could be. I'm giving two sides of the spectrum. There's always the other side, so we don't know. There's a lot of ambiguity with that. So carry on.
Well, Quetta says that he is the asshole, so she agrees with that, and I think that's universal that he is. But I appreciate you clarifying, Mr. Machismo. But still, it's interesting that is the perspective that comes up. Is for it to have been that long, there must have been something going on, or there could. Let me put my quotes up. There could be, right? Something going on. But Mo, woman to woman. Now we all know about those dudes that are just like not
come on,
like they not getting it.
Not getting it.
So what do you think about that? Like, could that have been the case where like this dude just sporadically is messaging her over several years?
Yes. Being a woman, I've experienced it. I don't know how many else have experienced it.
I have.
There are men who will. Okay, well, there are men who will continue to pursue you when you say no, when you're not interested.
Yes.
But I don't think she was wrong. I respect her for sending the picture. I call that being a real woman. Share.
Wait, carnal nature. He said not getting what exactly? Not getting the disinterest is where we are. Not getting the disinterest. Sometimes, one thing that my mom said to me is, a man will know that you are disinterested by your lack of interaction, not what you say. So not what you say, but what you don't say. When you don't entertain. But sometimes, in all honesty, when you don't entertain, for whatever reason, it still leaves this weird door open where like a guy will continue to pursue you because you just have not actively acknowledged them. Could that be the case? Oh, wait. Oftentimes people play hard to get because they do not want someone who gives up easy. Well, in this, okay. So I'm going to acknowledge that. As a woman, there is that possibility of, wanting a man to pursue. But if I've already been with you and we've been in a relationship for 2 years and you cheated on me and I broke up with you and I blocked you on everything, at that point, there's really not much of a misunderstanding. It's just you caring more about what you want than what I want, which was probably what was going on in the relationship to begin with. What you think, Dante? Mr. Machismo, where you at?
It's a lot to unpack.
It's getting thick in here, ain't it?
Regular temperature. but it's it's. I mean, it just. I don't know, man. That's one of those KYP type of situations, as most situations are, where we don't know this woman and we don't know this man. So to get perspective, we are on a podcast per se, so both sides and all sides are needed to kind of give an idea of what could be, because we're not talking in definites. There's no definitive answer to this. But from my experience, because I'm not a woman.
No, you're
but
not.
I have had, there has been women over the years, from childhood to now, where there has been pursuit that was unwarranted, and I no answer is an answer. I do believe that, yes. But there are some people that do not understand that concept, and right. that is definitely a fact. But I would lean, if I was to guess. Or if this was, you whoever, if you pick this side, you win $50. You pick this side, you got to give 20 or some sort of random. I don't know. I'm just coming up with scenarios. I would lean towards there was some sort of interaction, but I don't know. My gut tells me that, but once again, I don't know. It's all speculation.
So with that, I want to. Yeah, Cardinal is right. So, but I appreciate your commentary, and I'm going to read it. So, Cardinal says, and Mr. Machismo, I want you to weigh in on this, as our male perspective. How are men supposed to interpret behaviors of women who cannot even keep their own positions clear on anything? We are our only real frame of reference, though. Most women are chaotic and insecure or vain and narcissistic. Does that apply here, though? I'm really wondering, does that apply? Because in all honesty, now I don't know your personal experiences, Cardinal, because it sounds like maybe there's a little bit of that mixed into the comments. But for this particular instance, with Am I the Asshole here, she was pretty clear. I'm with you. You cheated on me. I broke up with you. I blocked you. We're done. Unless, again, like Mr. Machismo said, there was some wiggle room that she's just not talking about. So with that being said, Dante, weigh in. 28 years married to a covert narcissist. Yep. 28 years married to a covert narcissist abuser. Then yes, I want to validate your perspective because it's real. And what you went through in that marriage is real. And so when it pertains to what was going on there, I definitely understand. I can't go out on a limb and say that there's parallels in this particular instance, but I can say that living 28 years with a narcissistic, abusing wife can definitely provide differential viewpoints as it relates to the opposite sex, for certain. What are your thoughts, Mr. Machismo?
That's a lot that I think kind of complicates this situation a little bit. I think this is a little bit more simpler, where this is just a guy on one end possibly just missing his old thing, maybe because of what's happening at home, or maybe not. He might just be that chauvinistic male narcissist that is nuts. I don't know. But, but at the same token, there might be some residuals that are going back and forth. I don't know. It's a lot of ambiguity, but it's just a little messy. Now,
it's a lot. It's a lot messy. It is a lot. Wait 1 second. Wait 1 second. Mr. Machismo, Mr. Machismo, give me 1 second.
Go ahead.
Randy, I just want to catch everybody up on TikTok, because we do have people commenting on TikTok. we are talking about Reddit, Am I the Asshole? And right now, there is the specific topic, well, there's multiple topics that are floating around here. But the title of the Am I the Asshole is A Toxic Ex Sent Me an Unsolicited Genitalia picture. So I took a screenshot and sent it to his wife. Am I the asshole? And so we are discussing that. But also we do have some callers that are in and call in, right? And we're acknowledging those comments as well. For instance, we have Carnal Nature. And he says men have no control over how a woman interprets his actions. If they manifest pain in words, they expect men to stop using those words regardless of what the words actually say. If I was the problem, for example, she would be doing better without me, right? So it sounds like we're dealing with threat situations here, because I'm hearing some hurt. I'm hearing that there was some possible gaslighting going on in your situation, Carnal. And I'm also hearing, I'm sorry, is the audio scrambling for everybody, or is it just Carnal?
You're working up a little bit.
Okay, wait a minute. Is this better? Is this better? Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, there we go. We're back.
All right. Well, I always when I hit
roll.
with the deep voice, it comes in. I don't understand that. But what I was saying is, with Carnal, what I was saying, I'm hearing that there may have been some gaslighting within the marriage. I'm hearing that maybe he felt like he was perceived as the fault of everything within the marriage. And then I'm also hearing that if this was the case, the question, which is it may actually just is, wouldn't she be doing better off without me? Which implies to me that maybe she's not. Nevertheless, it's hard for me to really address that without having an actual circumstance that we're talking about specific to that. I recognize that this is a separate topic, and that these comments are not necessarily geared towards the Am I the Asshole commentary. And so definitely feel free to also inbox me. You can inbox me on Facebook, supportive advice, or you can also email me on. This is gonna be long. I'm sorry. I'll just type it in because my name is like Ray. My name is way long. Thanks, Mom. Appreciate you. I really do love you, but seriously, you could have picked something shorter. I'm just gonna put my email address in here so that you can inbox me. supportiveadvice.com, and then I'm also putting in my website so that you can, and this is for Carnal. Okay, so you check out my website. But yeah, and no, it's okay, because some of these things, in all honesty, they trigger other things, and so when we're talking about this woman and whether or not she's the asshole, it brings up perspective of, what was going on in our own relationships, if there was gaslighting, if there was omission of details that is making this person look different than how they should actually be perceived, which comes in with, your experience with a narcissistic spouse and things of that nature. You can perceive this commentary as blaming, where she's blaming this guy, but she maybe is omitting details, or maybe she was leading this person on. And because we don't have the information surrounding any of those things, it becomes, very ambiguous, as Mr. Machismo said. And so then, it's definitely fair that it trigger, extended commentary. With that being said, can I get a vote? Can I get a vote? Randy, Quetta, Carno, Michael, Mr. Machismo, Mojo. Was she the asshole, people?
Nah.
Nah. Thanks, Mr. Machismo. Nah. Mo? Mo, where you go? Help me out.
No, I said no, she's not. I think, like I said, I think she should tell. Tell the truth. Show the evidence. Thank you, ma'am.
I know that's right. Say it. So,
Yes.
Quetta and Randy, if you guys are still on via TikTok, write it in now while we're still on the subject. Was she the asshole? Yes or no? And I also wanted to read Colonel. We are all right in our own realities, at least. The problem lies in when our realities interact with the realities of others, and we expect those other realities to be operating on the same information. So basically what I'm hearing Colonel talk about, and what I'm doing here is called reflective listening. It's something that I teach all my couples because it cuts down on unnecessary confrontation, because it cuts down on individuals feeling misunderstood, because you get a clear understanding of what's being said. So what I am hearing Colonel say is that we all have different perceptions. And as it relates to perceptions, schema, just the way that our cognitive skew, which is just basically how we think, how we see the world based off of our experiences, or whether or not we have mental illness, or whatever the case may be, based off of that, we have a personal truth, which might be different than the universal truth. And so it doesn't necessarily mean that a person is telling a lie, or a person is specifically omitting information, when all honesty, they could just be telling their version of the truth. They could just be interpreting their own reality, their own, based off of their schema, which is basically the schema is the theme of their life, or how they see the world. And then you have your perspective, which is skewed by or possibly skewed by different cognitive distortions, which come from things that you've experienced, anxieties that you might have, or whatever the case may be. The universal truths are filters, traumas, impressions. Thank you. Colonel says our filters, traumas, and impressions. Absolutely. The universal truth, like a universal truth might be 2 + 2 is 4. That is something that we have collectively decided is true. That's not my perception versus your perception. It is something that is documented as a truth. Cardinal, tell me in what scenario 2 + 2, and I'm talking about a +2 and a +2 not equaling 4. So let me know that, because he said it depends on the scale and scope. Now it does, because it can be -2 plus +2, which doesn't equal 4. But when you're dealing with 2 positives, 2 and 2, coming together, you count them 1, 2, 3, 4, and that is something that has been determined as a universal truth. However, again, it's all about perspective when it comes to personal truths. So, with that being said, we have decided that she's not the asshole. I think that it makes sense that she might feel guilty, right? I don't know if that guilt comes from, as Mr. Machismo said, that she was just kind of giving off a little bit here and there, and because it was several years, and and it seemed like that this dude was pretty persistent, right? But I also wanted to say that it could be his attachment style. because there are attachment styles, which are, it sometimes it could be referred to as disorganized attachment, and sometimes it's referred to as anxious avoidant attachment, and it creates this pursuer distancer dynamic because of the anxiety. So basically, when someone is like into you, for instance, they kind of run away. They feel overwhelmed. They don't want to be bothered. But then when someone is saying, "Hey, I'm not into you," they're feeling rejected, or there's a possibility they think that they're going to really lose this person, they double down. And the anxiety of it can make it very impulsive, and it can create an environment that is not. I'm looking for a specific word here, and I straight lost it. But that's life. Rational. That was the word. It can create a mindset that's not rational. And so that means that there could be a situation where a girl is not responding. They've blocked you. They're not showing interest in you. But because of that anxious attachment style, you are continuously pursuing them to prove your own worth. But that often goes back to how a person was parented, which again, we don't have any information on. But I wanted to throw that out there because that is a possibility. That is something that I see on a regular basis. Individuals actively pursuing people that are not interested as a way of proving their own worth. So seeking it externally versus internally. So I'm going to acknowledge this comment here by Colonel. 2 handfuls of mine may not equal 2 handfuls of yours. So therefore 4 handfuls of mine will therefore not equal 4 handfuls for you. Now that is a great perspective. However, it is outside the guidelines in which I'm presenting, which is literally 2 and 2. Not 2 handfuls, like just the number 2, a positive number 2 in an equation, and another positive number 2 in an equation equaling 4. That is a universal truth. So not 2 handfuls, not 2 sums of something, but literally just a basic equation of a positive 2 added to another positive 2, making a sum of 4. So with that being said, so there's another caller. Let me go ahead and take this caller. Alexi, you're on.
Hello. Sorry, I just jumped in, and I wanted to make sure I understood correctly what you were just describing.
Sure.
The sort of the lack of self-confidence affecting the partners, basically. So, if I understood correctly, is that kind of like because you don't feel worthy of love, you start rejecting your partner, sort of, you try to like give negative feedback to confirm that they actually do love you, sort of, you're like testing them, sort of.
That can happen when someone is having low self-esteem. A result of that could be pushing your partner away because you want them to fight for you, because them fighting for you shows your worth. That can be part of avoidance behavior, 150%. So that wasn't specifically what I was talking about, but that is definitely a great example of some avoidant behavior. Another reason for avoidant behavior is just the pattern of I feel overwhelmed when I'm pursued. So that can also cause avoidant behavior. What I was specifically talking about, and I think you could have missed it. We were going over a Reddit, "Am I the Asshole?" and it talked about a male that was consistently pursuing a female for several years that was not responding to their advances. And what I was saying is that it could have been a part of an anxious attachment style that caused him to impulsively pursue her, even though she wasn't showing interest. What do you think about that, Alexi?
Well, like I said, I really apologize because, like you mentioned, I've only caught the end of it, and then it was just so. actually thinking about. But yeah, it sounds like you're saying it's like stalking, sort of, right? When
Yeah, that
you
sounds
don't.
like yeah.
What's I think maybe it has something to do. Like, did she show any affection for him initially?
They were together. So at one point,
Oh well, yeah. Then obviously it's because she, when they got together, he started building a relationship. He saw that there was a connection, and then
but then they broke
during
up.
the relationship, his self confidence fell down to such extent that he, basically when they stopped dating, he had the impression, like subconsciously, that no one else would take him, but because she has previously done it, he's trying to get that back, but he can't move on because he thinks no one else will even consider the option.
Now
Would that be some sort of part of the mechanism?
what you just said is a very important factor. It's a very important factor because they were in a relationship, and when they were in a relationship, he cheated on her, which can be a way to distance yourself from your partner, which goes along with avoidant attachment style. However, after they broke up, he did continue to pursue her. Now, here's where it gets tricky, Alexi. He's married with 2 kids, and he continues to pursue.
Oh, so the lady, so the family, you mean the wife and 2 kids, that's separate, right?
Yeah.
So this is basically his mistress. This is his mistress that he's pursuing right now, right?
No, this was a girlfriend that he had previous to getting married.
Oh, okay. So they broke up. He got a family and 2 kids, and now he's pursuing the initial girl.
Right. He got married. They broke up. He got married. Right.
Uh-huh.
He had 2 kids with this woman that he's with, but he keeps on pursuing this ex that broke up with him years ago.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, that's kind of simple. It's the same. Sorry, I didn't mean to say it's simple.
Okay.
To me, it has parallels with people when they're 50, 60 still listening to music they used to listen in high school.
Oh,
It's
I like
it's
that.
an attempt to return to your young youth, basically, because as people age, right, you start losing details of your past, and you kind of focus on significant events, and you try to remember it as it's like grass used to be green or whatever kind of saying, whatever.
Right. So what you're saying, and I do have some chats as well. Carnal, I'm going to get to your chats in just a second. But what I'm hearing you say, Alexi, is that he may not be happy in his marriage or in his choices. And so he's trying to return back to a period where he was happy. Is that what you're saying? And in doing this,
Yeah, exactly.
he's consistently pursuing her.
Yeah, it's exactly. He's trying to return to the past that he idealizes. Like if there was like a lot of times actually when people get older and they watch like say videotapes of their like birthdays or something when they were really young, or like pictures, they can't even recognize it because in their head the simplified version of it, the idealized version of it, looked a lot better. And when they actually see documented, they're like, wow, I can't believe I was wearing that shirt or something, Or I had so many pimples, so yeah, and obviously the marriage didn't work out, so he's trying to return.
He's still married to the
Oh,
person.
he's still married.
Yeah, he's still married.
Well, okay. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not a psychologist, but yeah, I mean, to me it sounds like, that's connected because, first of all, because it was a relationship, so it's a definite possibility because he experienced it before,
Right.
In his mind, that's definitely a possibility. And because he idealizes the relationship after, some time.
Absolutely. I'm with you there because we do tend to idealize relationships, and so he could have put her in a category of being like the one that got away, and so
Yeah, well, your first love is always special, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with this.
Well, I mean, because I think it's kind of like any kind of new experience you experience, the very first time it happens, all the ones after that, they never match up to it. You know, you never get that. It's like drugs. You know, you never get the same high you did the first time, whatever. So it's like,
I like
you
that
know,
analogy. That's a good analogy.
well, yeah, because I'm not sure what the terminology is. When people, when you experience the same stimulation, you know, it basically the response to it decreases over time because you build like resistance,
Tolerance.
kind of
Yeah, you build a
tolerance. Exactly, tolerance is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think that's probably why the first love is always, you know, remembered also. But I mean, all the stuff like you know, sorry, like this whole psychology is like really new to me. That's why it's very interesting to learn. Um, Slightly off topic, just you know, if you study about like Renaissance, you know, kind of medieval ages, like a lot of scientists explored like all the different, you know, sciences, like, you know, chemistry, physics, painting. You know, they dabbled in everything because that gives you a full picture of the world, kind of. And nowadays, everyone's so focused on their specific area that they get sort of like dogmatized. You know, they don't really understand it. They learn the terms and they kind of perform the algorithm, you know, instead of really understanding it.
I can hear that, you know, and I wanted to thank you so much for your perspective. Definitely keep listening, don't leave, and then we will come back to you after we take some comments from our speakers. So carnal nature, a lot of comments. Okay, and so let me go ahead. So she tried to stake a claim on a married man. He wants to keep her while he is married. Whole lot of stuff going on there. Yes, it is. I apologize. I took it off topic. No. It's okay. It's really okay. And I apologize. And I appreciate all your input. Is what I wanted to say. So definitely keep listening and subscribe because I'm here every Thursday at 6:00. No apologies. The more conversation, the better. That's what this is about. And so then she tried to stake claim on a married man. He wants to keep her while he's married. Whole lot of stuff. BS. This is so poorly framed. Cursory comprehension. Okay. So just to clear this up, Carnal, they dated in the past. Okay. They were supposed to be monogamous with one another at some point. They dated for 2 years, and then he cheated. Yeah, before he got married, they dated for 2 years. She wasn't his mistress or anything like that. She wasn't his. They were just together. It was just him and her, supposedly. And then he began to cheat on her, and that was confirmed. When the cheating was confirmed, she broke up with him. When she broke up with him, she blocked him on all social media. She blocked him on her phone. She ceased communication with him. That is a good question, Carnal. I don't know how it was confirmed. The Reddit just says that it was confirmed that he was cheating. So that's a good question. We don't know. Nevertheless, she blocked him on everything. She discontinued communication with him. And then apparently he started calling her from new numbers and texting her from new numbers, probably using some type of an app, I'm assuming, right? And so, and that goes back to Alexi when he said the whole stalking. That kind of mirrors stalking, yeah. And so then she blocked all of those numbers as well. And so then she said she deleted something called WhatsApp. And then she reinstalled it. And when she reinstalled it, he reached out to her on WhatsApp. And that is where the male genitalia picture was sent to her. By this time, he was married with 2 kids. And so she found his wife on Facebook. And she says that the reason why she was able to find his wife is because her family and his family are friends in some kind of way, blah blah blah. It's irrelevant, I guess. And then she sent the picture to her, And so what we were trying to determine here is by sending that picture, is she the asshole? For the most part, we all said no. She's not. And then it says people can convince themselves of indiscretions in order to substantiate their own desire to cheat. Absolutely. And again, this sounds like this is coming from your perspective that was developed within your marriage, which absolutely makes sense. So yes, that is a possibility. I'm going to just take this person's word on it just because I don't have any evidence otherwise. And if he was pursuing her while he's married with 2 kids, that shows a pattern of infidelity. So, I mean, it's not far-fetched that he may have cheated on her, because a lot of times infidelity is in patterns. But I do want to give my speakers a chance to comment on Alexi and what he said, as well as what Carnal is saying, and just kind of get Mr. Machismo and Mojo's perspective of this while I drink some water. You guys are on.
Oh yeah, I'm glad I got my coffee because it was a lot going on. But yeah, definitely I like the I like the perspectives because it kind of shines the light on the possibilities. Because I mean, with all of this, we don't know anything for sure. We're just going off of what's reported on this article or description for this title or the who's the bad guy basically type of scenario. So and I like the description how my man was talking about. I think Alexi was talking about I can't believe I used to wear that shirt, or man, I even had them pimples there. I like that because when you go back to familiar things, it's a place of comfort a lot of times. So, I kind of hit on it earlier how it might be turbulence, with the current relationship old boys in. Who knows, but these are perspectives to think about because it's a possibility.
Same thing. Yeah, you're right.
And that's something that I mean a lot of people will partake in. When times get hard, you go. I call it the escape syndrome. Who can I run to? You run to what's what you remember the song back in the day. Who can I run to? Yeah, but anyway.
You kind of talking. I think like men are more kind of. They tend to do it more often than females. I think maybe because. Biologically, females are supposed to take care of the kids, so they're never really separate alone. But men, when they get in a situation in life where they're confused, they don't know what to do and stuff, they tend to begin eliminating aspects, in their life, and just to cut off everything to get to find the root cause that's causing the problem and fix it.
Can we please talk about that? Because I'm glad, Alexi, you mentioned that because Aquila, you did say something about how men will go out. They behave differently in most cases when something is going on. They may step out and do that and cheat within behavior. And so why is that? Can we talk a little bit about that? Because that's something that people may need some help in that area.
Okay, that is that's so loaded. That is so loaded, like 100%. If women were giving their man what their man actually wanted, then they are much less likely to stray. That's what Cardinal says. Mo, what's your thought on that?
Oh, don't do that, Cardinal. We about to get a shot.
Mo. I need an answer from Mo here. If women were giving their man what their man actually wants, then they are much less likely to stray. And you're on, Mo.
May the odds forever be in your favor.
Oh, don't let your mic fail now. Come on, Mo.
make a small comment.
Save us, save us.
I think there's a danger in science and statistics and stuff like that. When you start describing, like you start talking about likelihood, more likely, less likely, and stuff like that, that can't be attributed. Like you can't transfer it on the individual people. You can still use it on society. You can predict the behavior of a group of people if, like, say something is more likely to happen. Yeah, it's gonna actually, be, you'll see it in the real world. But when you're talking about individual people, if you say, oh, he's like 70% chance him like doing something, you can't. Yeah, there's no relation on that because people are individuals, right? And they make choices that are based on their specific kind of set of mindset and stuff.
Alexi, I'm hearing you, and from a doctoral student such as a doctoral candidate such as myself, I can relate to quantitative and qualitative studies, and I can talk about them till I'm blue in the face. But this is not that, so I'm going to go back to Cardinal. He says, wow. He says, okay, so Mo, I'm gonna ask you to speak again. I'm gonna put you back here.
Oh Lord, Cardinal.
And so he
Cardinal
said,
say
he okay. Hey, all right. So okay. So if women were given their man what their man actually want, then they are much less likely to stray. Men need to get back to being the prize. What do women bring to the relationship? So we got a lot. We got a lot going on. What do women bring to the relationship? Mo, help me out. Where are you? Where
I only stand with one of those sentences. Not the other
What
two.
in the world?
Not the other two. Just one.
About? Sir, there are women who could be doing everything that their men request and still be cheated on. It goes both ways. But let's not do that, Cardinal. Oh wait. Oh wait, that's all I can say. What? Let's talk about self-control and
let's talk about it.
Can I just
self-control and self-discipline? As an individual, you have a choice. You could either choose to act out of emotion and go out and cheat because you're angry that your wife spent up the money going shopping, whatever the scenario is. She's trying to hold you responsible for something, and you go out and cheat. That's the easy thing to do. That's real easy. That's real easy.
That's the easy thing to do. That's the easy thing to do. And Mo, I'm 100% with you, woman to woman, and I'm so glad that I got you here. Okay, women live inside we are, but both of us together, we got it though. So it's cool. And essentially all the men are not necessarily agreeing with Cardinal here. Like, for instance, Mr. Machismo told Cardinal to abandon the ship. Just abandon ship, jump off, just swim to shore, because this is not happening. But at the end of the day, what I'm getting from Cardinal, in all honesty, is hurt people hurt people. And if you have been in a marriage where you perceive, and I don't know if this is an actual medical diagnosis here, but you perceive your spouse to be narcissistic, or you perceive yourself to have been gaslighted, then that is going to skew your feelings, comments, emotions, demeanor towards women. And what I'm hearing, Cardinal, I'm not hearing you. I'm hearing your hurt. I'm hearing your anger. I'm hearing your resentment. I'm hearing all of those things. I don't know you. I've never met you, but I've met your resentment. I've met your hurt, and I've definitely met some of your anger in these conversations. And so let that be clear. And I'm not saying that those feelings are not warranted, because again, 28 years in a relationship in which someone feels abused might lead them to come down on the opposite sex. And the same thing could be happening if there was a woman, who felt like that they were manipulated and abused by a man for 28 years. I'm sure their perspective would be skewed, and they would be kind of jumping on the same bandwagon. Brady's here. You guys remember Brady, don't you? Y'all remember Brady? Brady, I'm going to need you to stay on topic if you're going to talk today. Brady?
He's on topic. I'm always on point. My finger is on the dial.
Is it now?
So my goal... my own personal goal that I need supportive advice on, I think, would really pertain to the kind of conversation you're having about men and how men really need a place for healing and kind of a place to become better men. That's not the Freemasons. I don't think the Freemasons... I haven't seen the Freemasons turn a man better yet, except maybe Prince. I don't know. I think Prince came out cool, though. So I'm not giving the Freemasons much credit for that. But, what I want to do is start like a nonprofit model dojo where any kids can just come for free. Hopefully anyone from the community can come for free anytime, any day, and just hopefully make it all donation based, and where people can practice martial arts together, get out all that frustrated energy in a positive, consensual environment,
Right.
A mutually respectful environment. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, but I don't hear you staying on topic.
Oh, the topic is
It's not
supportive advice.
self-promotion.
You gotta lace me up on the topic.
Yeah.
I heard you talking about. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, well, I'll try not to promote myself. Yeah, by all means. What is the topic? It sounded like you were talking about hurt people.
Well, what I was referring
When I came in,
referring to was a specific commenter that has been commenting. The initial, just so that you're aware, the initial topic was "Am I the asshole?" And it was a Reddit about a female who had broken up with the male. The male had continued to pursue her even after being married for several years and having 2 kids. And at some point he sent her a picture of his genitalia. And with that, she sent it to his wife, and then she posted, "Am I the asshole?" In having that conversation, there was someone...
No.
Oh, no?
Yeah, thanks for lacing me up on that.
Yeah, see,
now that I know what you're talking about, no.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this, that if that man had a community dojo where he could have gone to for free,
Whoa.
he might have had, I'm just saying, it might not have happened in the first place. But, I don't think she is an asshole for saying that. And as a matter of fact, I think what she did is exactly what you're supposed to do to get rid of assholes.
Thank
and
you.
to screw. Exactly.
Yes,
you have to
Brady.
expose what they did. You have to name them. Name the asshole, you say what they did, and then you provide the evidence and the receipts. 1, 2, 3. Just like that. That's all you do. You don't add anything to it. You don't take anything away from it. You say, this person did this right here and then. This is what they did. Here's the evidence. That's all you got to do. And the problem fixes itself. And then, of course, you got to shout it from the rooftops after that, though.
I mean, but is that last part really necessary, Brady? The shouting it from the rooftops part?
Always, sometimes, honestly, I think it's the best thing. I think it's really the best thing to just get it all out there. I really do. I think sunlight and exposure is really the best thing. But sometimes I understand it's hard to do that. And, I'm not asking the moon from everyone. So yeah, there's, you could use your judgment and maybe keep things private, but, yeah, I think it does help to at least let certain people know what happened, even if it's just one of your close friends, just let someone know what happened, and get some feedback. Make sure.
That I'm with.
Because that's emotional support, what you're talking about.
Let me grab this dance real quick.
All right, Mr.
My man
Machismo.
Brady, he brought up a good point
Are you talking
about
about Brady?
kind of getting things out in the open. Yeah. Brady brought up a good point about kind of being things and bringing things out to the open. Where the only thing that I could say that might have made things a little bit maybe easier on the young ladies, and if this is let's just say hypothetically, if this is a situation where she's just not saying no, but definitely not saying yes, kind of just ignoring them, coming out and being aggressively with a no. And I think in a lot of ways, her showing the wife is doing that, but maybe off top, like not even entertain it, and like maybe even demonstratively anything to really remove all ambiguity about there's a chance of this thing ever occurring again. Because at some point, like even the craziest of the crazies, they gotta recognize if you tell them enough, if you tell them the specific, sometimes you have to use your hands to get the flea off you, for lack of a better term. Like I'm not sure of all the what went on, but she might have needed to be a little bit more aggressive prior to the lead up to the sexting and all that. Like if she was a little bit maybe aggressive, maybe things might have been a little different. But that, I don't know. We don't. Of course, this is just an ideal throwing it out there. I don't know. But also, one quick thing? What if the roles were reversed? What if the young lady that got cheated on was a man, and it was a lady hitting him up? Like, would we have the same consensus that the lady was the bad guy?
So
Absolutely, without question.
yeah, I was about to say yeah, because it's not
I hope so.
it's not the gender that is making the person the asshole. It's the actions. It is the fact that you have well, first of all, the relationship is over. You guys broke up. It's over. It's done. Okay? And so now you're consistently pursuing her. Now I mean she could have got a restraining order, I guess. If he was actively harassing her. But nevertheless, like she blocked him on everything, and then he started using other numbers to contact her. It's like, okay, at some point, it's on him.
Crazy.
It's on him, and if it was a female, it would be on her.
I agree 100%, and I don't feel that there really should have to be this discussion. But yet
I
there
get it, though.
needs to
I
be
get
this
it.
discussion. There is a segment of the population that may have a different perspective if it was roles reversed. So I just felt the need to just throw it out there just as a conversational tool. But there is somebody that would have a different answer because the roles were reversed gender wise.
Okay,
It isn't me,
it's not
but
but somebody would.
Sis.
So I wanna say, Carnal said, "Damn, she put that good on his ass." So essentially, she must, But even if she got even if her good is gold, when you lose it, you lost it. Okay, and so there's that. But Brady, what were you about to what were you about to say?
Change their opinion based on the sexy whatever, then that person would be a sexist. And I just want to add that it's a lot cooler to be sexy and racy than racist and sexist.
Oh, I like that. Can you put that in the
I
comments?
see what you did there.
Brady, can you put that in the comments? That was nice.
think,
I like that.
That was one of the guys from Monty Python that said that. I think it was Sir, I forget his name, but yeah, I'll put the quote in the comments.
Yeah, that's awesome. Mo, I have not heard nothing from you. Dante, Mr. Machismo, he raised a very good point. Would we feel differently if it was a woman pursuing a man? Would we be the ones saying that man must have done something? Mo, help me out. Any ladies?
I feel like I agree with Dante that if it was the other way around, the woman would be wrong if she was cheating on her husband and sending, her snack pack to her ex. That would be inappropriate. You shouldn't be sending your snack pack out to other individuals. And you married. That's not a go.
I agree with you 100%. Carno says, thank you for putting that in the chat room, Brady. I appreciate you. Carno says, what is his wife not doing to make him wonder? Which, is really putting the blame back on the hurt party. It's a lot of times, one thing that you'll learn is that infidelity is not about what the other partner is lacking. It's about what that partner is lacking. And so, that doesn't necessarily have to mean that the other partner isn't doing something, or the relationship is turbulent, or whatever the case may be, which also takes me back to Alexi's point. Sometimes we idealize previous relationships or how we felt in that relationship, and we want to get back to that place. It's a lot of times about what the individual who is cheating is lacking versus their partner. And Mojo again says it's about that self-discipline. Because sometimes cheating is in all honesty, especially in individuals that are bipolar, that are the wording is overly sexual, but that's a perspective. And but impulsive, the impulsivity, you'll find that a lot with individuals who might be diagnosed with bipolar disorder, that they have a lot of high impulsivity as it relates to sexual intercourse, and so they'll cheat a lot. But that has more to do with their mental illness than their partner, and so still it's not on the person that is being cheated on.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely. That's
why does it appear that when someone is the victim, society always seems to blame the victim, especially when it's a female? It appears that a female who is a victim, what did she have on, or what did she do to do this, or was she not cooking, was she not sharing her snack pack well enough for him to cheat, and he was the husband? Where is the accountability and the responsibility for the individual who committed the offense or the crime or the cheating behavior? Come on, what's up with that?
Say it, Mojo. Brady, what you got?
I'm gonna quote. Yeah, what Dr. West said is that justice is what love looks like in public, or like justice is love in public, And what we have a major lack of justice in our whole culture, world, economy, and the reason for this behavior is Stockholm syndrome. These people are lapdogs to the control, the vampires that are trying to turn us all into slaves, and I really love the question, like, am I the asshole? I think that's such a good, I love all these, like, potential scenarios. And so I don't want to talk too long. Alexi's here behind me, and I think I was trying to get a hold of this guy earlier today because I think he experienced one of these situations exactly where it's like, am I the asshole? And, like, I was really interested in his response, if y'all are willing to maybe be like a neutral third party for what happened to him.
Oh yeah, 150%. Oh yeah. So let me go ahead and get to Alexi then. Oops, I hit the wrong button. All right, how do I do this? Okay, make next caller. All right, there we go. Alexi, you were in the same situation?
Well, yeah, but that's my kind of personal stuff. I don't like to it's kind of like related to what we're talking about. My point is, don't judge. You won't be judged. I don't take upon myself responsibility to judge other people. That if I'm not familiar with all the details, So that's why I'm just saying, like, I would prefer not to talk about the situation because you guys weren't there, and I only have my opinion, and the other side is not here to defend themselves. So obviously, I'm gonna give you my perspective, and because I already have a conclusion in mind. Obviously, you'll all manipulate the situation so you reach the same conclusion because I'm trying to find support. But I'm not actually trying to find support on that because I have self-confidence in my decision. So, so it's complicated.
Out of curiosity, how does Brady know? Are you guys like friends outside of here or something?
Me and Brady?
Yeah.
No, we just met each other and talks.
Okay.
But
right.
yeah, I guess.
Brady, you know everybody.
Oh, and I mean. Well, there's not that many people that actually use Colin. But yeah, I just wanted to make a comment. A lot of times people like do stuff, start discussing topics, and but they don't have like a goal in mind. So I was just curious, like, because we're discussing a specific situation, right?
We are.
So what is the purpose? To find the guilty party?
Well, what I'm doing is I'm reading Reddit. And what I'm reading is a person who is literally asking, are they the asshole?
Uh-huh.
So then we read it, and then we give perspective as to whether or not they're the asshole, and then it leads into different conversation, and it continues to flow from there. So this person particularly puts himself out.
I'm not trying to criticize or anything. Yeah.
Oh no! I mean, like,
I'm just trying to conceptually think. How? Sorry, it's gonna be a little bit all over the place. How like people read like fairy tales, right? Or like back in the day, there was like ancient myths and stuff about gods and stuff, right? So those were kind of like theoretical scenarios that teach a person how to behave in a specific situation, or kind of like a general type of a situation, right? So it's like a learning tool.
Okay. I mean, this is a real situation.
Like a hypothetical. Well, that's what I'm trying to separate, right? So you create general scenarios, right, that are not too detailed in order to use it as a learning example, right? How someone should behave in that situation. But this is the opposite, right? This is a really detailed, real life situation, right?
Yeah, this is
the purpose is. So the purpose is to what? To make the judgment if she's the asshole. Well, I mean, we don't know, what kind of arrangement they had. Some people have open relationships. Some people are fine with, their husband cheating on them. It's at the end of the day, it's her relationship. If she's not satisfied with it, then she should leave. Yeah, that's it.
I don't know what you're talking
about. Like, we didn't write the contract. Oh, sorry. What I'm trying to say is that, different couples...
I'm confused.
Yeah, sorry, I'm talking too much about it.
No. Here's the thing. In the scenario, first I want to point out that it's not like I'm finding some random person and they told me something in secret and then I'm putting it on my show. These are publicized questions here that a lot of people on Reddit have already commented on, right? But I take this content and I read it, and then I allow other people to give perspective on it. It is a matter of opinion, as is most things, right? And in this scenario, the person that's asking the question very clearly summarizes their relationship or lack of relationship with this person. And what they're really asking about is whether or not they were the asshole for sending the picture to his wife. They're not really asking, are they the asshole because he kept pursuing her or whatever the case may be, just sending the photo. But just like anything else, it sparked interest. And so we're talking about it. And Brady came on, which I appreciate. He always brings a little bit of flavor to the show or whatnot. So Brady came on, and then he said that you had a situation that was pretty much parallel to what was going on, and then he passed up a time for you to talk about it. And that's fine if you don't want to talk about it. But it doesn't make anything wrong with the topic itself, right? Alexi.
I hope I didn't come off as like, because I was critical in terms of I'm trying to establish what you already kind of have established up to this point, right? So you're discussing a specific situation, and right, like at this point in the conversation, you're already talking details, right? You're trying to dissect it, and I'm trying to sort of throw the conversation back to the core of it, like what is the point? Determining who's right, who's wrong, if a specific action is justified or unjustified.
Right.
Like, yes. Like you said, everyone has their own opinion. We can't, like, I'm not going to pass judgment on someone because there's no way I can, even if I'm the most empathetic person in the universe, I cannot inhibit, like, I can't, take on his life experience. I can't, completely understand him. So, like, his reaction, I can estimate it, but I can't judge it. Especially in this case specifically, when one person of a conflict is giving her perspective, and we don't hear the defending side. It's like even in a trial, you have to hear out both sides, right?
Yes. In a trial where you're determining real innocence and guilt as it relates to a court of law, you do need to hear both sides. But this isn't that. Right? This is a person that is going on a public platform, putting out their perspective and asking from their perspective, were they the asshole? Which means that they're embracing the opinion. They want the opinion. We're not trying to give opinions to individuals that aren't asking for them, right? That would be, unwarranted, right? But we're giving opinions to individuals that are asking for an opinion. And it sounded like initially you were open to that, but I think that once it started becoming a little bit more personal, thanks Brady, it kind of turned into something else where I'm picking up some defensiveness. So we're going to move off that topic, saying that it's obvious you don't want to talk about your personal situation, which I get because it sounds pretty private. And I appreciate that you respect the other person's inability to defend themselves. Nevertheless, we're moving on. Was the something fresh or from back in the day when they were dating? Oh, the photo. The photo was fresh, is the assumption. And the reason why I'm assuming that is because she said that it had a lot of pictures of their, like it had a lot of aspects of their bedroom. Not their bedroom, her and him, but the bedroom that he shares with his wife. And so when she shared the photo, it was very clear that it was from a current time. What were the motivations? What was the thinking when he sent it? How? We don't know. We have no idea. I don't know, Mr. Machismo, what is the motivation behind sending a picture of your genitalia? Help me out.
Now that
what is
I
the
can't
deep
speak for
motivation
that
behind
particular.
that, right?
It's hard to say with this person without knowing them even remotely. I mean, I would assume that may be a part of their relationship that was favorable. So that is an enticer to any. So that may be the motivation, but it's tough. Like I think you said it, and I think somebody else mentioned it on the in the chat. Like, we don't know. There's so much we don't know, but there is so much that we do know. So it just allows us to just speculate and kind of let our minds wander. But overall, I mean, if someone is, especially in a situation where, I would just say common sense wise, if someone is not, let's just say accommodating or being cordial in the beginning or before the picture is sent, I can't see the logic of sending said picture. Right. It really seems a little counterproductive in a lot of ways.
And Carno said she's seen it before. so it's not new anyway.
I
Which
mean,
is what I
right.
said too. Like, I mean, it's like, it's not like she, but again, if he was very confident, to your point, Mr. Machismo, if he was very confident in his ability to sexually satisfy her, and maybe he felt like that was part of the reason that kept her in the relationship previous, maybe he was trying to entice her. We won't know. And it's not for us to know. And it's not for us to determine, but it was for us to determine whether or not she was the asshole. And the general perspective that we got on that was no. Thanks to my man Brady, he says that is what you should do. If someone's doing something that is uncomfortable, find a social support, which I'm completely down with, and tell their wife. Now, I don't know, whether or not telling what was the real motive behind telling the wife, right? But I do know that that's what happened. And she said that they're still together. So, essentially maybe, this didn't cause as much turbulence in the relationship as she was thinking. But I can definitely tell she was guilty. Which is why we're talking about this in the first place, which is why, we put it on Reddit to begin with, right? But I love the topic. Thank you, Carno. Thank you, North, Ark, No Music, Alexi, Michael, everybody. Subscribe. I am like way over my time. So I am going to let my panel, she could be lying. That's right. We'll never know. But we've already determined she's not the asshole. And so we're going to roll with that. Thank you, Colonel, for subbing. I appreciate you. Everybody subscribe. And I am here every, for the most part, Thursdays at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you come at 6 o'clock and it's dead air, hold on with me at least until 6:15 because normally I'm late. And just, come on. I'm on Facebook. I'm on YouTube. I'm on TikTok. And let's have a conversation. We're doing more Am I the Asshole next week. And let's determine who is the asshole. And with that, we have supportive advice. We have therapeutic lessons, coping strategies, different levels of understanding. And we'll learn something about ourselves and the other. All right. I'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much for all those who sub. Definitely catch the replay on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify Podcasts. You guys are great. Thank you so much for your time. I will talk to you soon.